Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Money, Real Business podcast. I'm Lauren, and today we have Grace on the show, who is selling an Amazon FBA business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Hey Grace, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hey Lauren, doing well here.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show. Really looking forward to learning more about you and your business. But before we dive in, I'm going to go over a brief summary of it. This is an Amazon FBA business created in December 2020 in the jewelry niche. The average revenue for the business is $19,040 per month, and it makes an average of $3,550 per month in net profit. The assets included with the business are an Amazon Seller Central account with 2 SKUs, a primary domain and all site content and files, a secondary domain and all site content and files, supplier relationships, an Instagram account, and trademarks. Please note that inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to verified buyers. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 60299 to learn more about this business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So, Grace, now that we know more about the business, let's hear from you. Can you fill us in on your background in starting and running online businesses?
Yeah, sure thing. So I've worked in marketing and tech startups for about a decade now, always early stage where, you're building a team of 5-6 people and building a business from scratch, basically. And we're always trying to figure out how to do everything. And I'm having to learn something new every day, very similar to starting or running an online business. This is the stage in the company building that I really, really enjoy and gravitate towards, the launch phase. Yeah, no question that when I was thinking about starting a hobby, starting something on my own, online businesses was the first thing I looked at, and Amazon FBA made that, kind of launch really easy for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any particular reason why you gravitated towards the FBA business model instead of other e-commerce models like Shopify, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, Amazon FBA was something that was simple to start up because I did try the Shopify dropshipping model and a bunch of other, service-based frameworks. And for me, Amazon, I really love that there was a built-in audience and there was, their entire logistics warehousing framework so that I could focus on things that I enjoy, like the branding side, the marketing side, and it would be easy enough to outsource the tasks that I didn't quite enjoy. So Amazon FBA for me made it so that I can pick and choose kind of what I wanted to work on.
Yeah, fantastic. And what drew you to selling these particular products?
So first of all, it ticked all of the boxes of having really high demand and really low competition. And while I didn't really know much about the niche when I first started into it, because it ticked all of these boxes, again, for me, the big draw for starting this business, getting into this category, was that I would be able to learn a lot every day and kind of pick and choose the challenges that I could tackle myself and then outsource what I couldn't figure out, for example.
Fantastic. Yeah. You mentioned challenges that you faced with the business. What would you say was your biggest setback or challenge while building this business?
Yeah. So I started thinking about this November, December of 2020. We were in the middle of this big global crisis, economic, financial health crisis, right? And the biggest challenge starting a business during this time, starting an Amazon FBA business, was supply chain stuff. And that was something that not only did I have to learn and dig into, but a lot of it was out of any individual's control. So I would say that, the global supply chain crisis was quite a big challenge to try to tackle and try to figure out how to manage inventory for a new business with Amazon's inventory limits for new sellers, for example, trying to figure out the best way to balance staying in stock while staying within those inventory limits was the biggest challenge in the first few months.
Yeah, certainly. And definitely something that hasn't gotten any easier with time, unfortunately. Looking at the positive side of things, what would you say was your biggest win since starting this business?
I think for me, it's being able to share this business model with friends and family so that they now have some sort of side income and being able to be, one or two steps ahead of them so I can offer some guidance and direction and things like that. So I would say that the biggest win is, again, being able to learn and see some success in this business model so that I can now talk about it and share it with, friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. You certainly have experienced a lot of success with this business. What is the reason that you've decided to sell it now?
Honestly, I have so many other things on my plate that this is one of those things that I wish I could put more time into because I know that there's a lot of opportunity for growth. And as an entrepreneur, I'm so frustrated that I can see that this could be something much bigger if I allocate more time and a little bit more resources into this. So in better hands, this could grow into something much bigger than where I've brought it because I'm only working on this, maybe putting in 1-2 hours every couple of weeks into this business. When I was putting in a little bit more hours into this during the holiday season, for example, spending more time optimizing the listing, the SEO, spending more time optimizing PPC, I was seeing much higher margins and much quicker growth during August, September, October, and into the holiday season, which is busier in general. And then now that I've stepped back a little bit, I'm seeing, it's still running itself, definitely running itself. But the reason why I'm selling this is because I know that this could grow. The market that I'm in is growing. So the store that I've built right now with the SKUs that I have could grow into so much bigger in the right hands.
Yeah, that's quite an exciting point. To expand on that further, what would you say are the major opportunities for growth with this business?
There's a bunch of low-hanging fruit that I could rattle off into. For example, hiring experts to do the listing photography, copywriting, SEO, like I mentioned earlier, because right now I'm ranking on the first page with both of my SKUs with just iPhone photos that I took myself, hacking together a good title with helium 10 keywords. While I do have a background in marketing and some design skills, I'm not a professional graphic designer. I'm not a professional product photographer. So just a little bit more resources and time into this could see massive growth in, just at something as simple as optimizing the listing or having an agency or an expert handle PPC, for example, doing some A/B tests. So just the basic foundational stuff that, most Amazon sellers do on a day-to-day basis, but I'm not able to do because I have other projects outside of this that I have to be focused on. Yeah, there's so much that I could talk about just because right now, again, I'm ranking on the first page. Usually, I think I just checked yesterday morning, I was number 3 and number 4 for both of my SKUs. So ranking pretty high for the main keywords with just me doing everything and not even spending a lot of time on it. So I can only imagine what someone doing this more full-time or even just a little bit more than what I'm doing with it could take this into.
Yeah, certainly. It definitely sounds like there's a lot of potential for growth there. Definitely a solid business you've got. You touched on the fact that you do have PPC campaigns. Are you doing anything else in terms of marketing?
No, just PPC. I did try some TikTok because there's so much opportunity in organic TikTok right now. But yeah, that takes a lot of time as well, or just a lot of front-loaded time that I can't give it. So honestly, right now with just PPC, I'm ranking pretty well for all of the main keywords.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. Diving into your supply chain and inventory, can you walk us through what your supply chain looks like?
Yeah, so I have one supplier who handles really pretty much everything from putting together the product itself and also the printing of the postcard insert and the packaging, which he outsources. And then it's also all shipped through DDP all the way through to the Amazon warehouses.
Fantastic. And how long does it usually take to replenish your inventory?
Usually 2 to 3 week production time. 2 weeks is pretty optimal. And then I usually ship by sea 4 to 6 weeks right now. I have shipped by air during the holidays when I needed inventory ASAP. So total of, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks to get inventory into Amazon.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty streamlined. How often are you in contact with your suppliers?
These days, very rarely, just because, like you said, it's pretty streamlined. I'm not making any product changes at all. So we communicate via Slack, and my main contact is very responsive, usually within the hour. And these days, I really just put in my order, and he lets me know when it's ready to be, handed over to the freight forwarder. So I pay the other half of the balance, and then pretty much very streamlined through Slack, and we have a very casual relationship with him.
Fantastic. Off the top of your head, what your current inventory limits at Amazon warehouses are?
Yeah, I actually have Seller Central pulled up right now. Let me just click over into the inventory planning page.
Awesome.
So for standard size storage, I have a max inventory level of 20,383. Shipment quantity of 17,254. And that I only use the standard size storage right now.
Okay, great. And have those limits been raised or limited in the past year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So when I first started, there was 200 unit limit, which made it super, super difficult starting up. Because again, like I said earlier, I had to balance staying in stock while, having enough on stock with all of the supply chain delays. So the first couple of months, I had to, store some at my house while sending a little bit at a time to Amazon warehouses. So from that, very, very small limit, now it's grown to 20,000. During the holidays, I had a limit of, I think it was 8,000 units, which was at the time really difficult to kind of balance that production time with staying in stock.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. That's quite a drastic difference from 200. It's definitely increased considerably. You mentioned that this is sort of a side project for you, very passive. Can you walk me through what your typical work week looks like for you when maintaining this business?
Yeah, of course. So these days during the day, I check my phone app, the Seller Central app, to look at sales, make sure that it's pretty aligned with the previous day or the previous weeks, just to check to make sure that nothing has exploded. And then I'm not as diligent now because it's not as hectic as November and December, but I usually try to update my inventory sheet for the week or every couple of weeks or so, just to make sure that I'm staying in stock or that I have enough stock for 2 months out. And then I check my PPC once a month. So it's about, I would say, an hour's worth of work a week, if that. And it's here and there. It's not like I'm sitting down and in front of my computer for a couple hours at a time.
Wonderful. It certainly sounds like everything's running smoothly on autopilot. What would you say are the biggest challenges that a buyer might face when taking over this business?
The market is definitely growing, the category that my products are selling in. I think the biggest challenge would be competing with larger sellers who might be using some black hat tactics, like, review manipulation sites and things like that. The other day I saw a new product launch, then a month later they have 2,000 reviews. And you just know that they had to have done something that, is against terms of services. Customers are starting to see through this, though, because, like I said earlier, my 2 SKUs are still ranked number 3 and number 4 above these products that have much higher review numbers. Because, customers look into your listing and look at what you're offering and see that is obviously distinct from what other competitors are offering. So that would be the biggest challenge, is trying to compete with larger sellers who may not be playing along the lines of Amazon's rules.
Yeah, definitely. How much support are you willing to offer buyers to help them navigate these challenges?
The standard 30 days of email support and 2 video calls. But happy to talk about this more if the buyer, feels like they would need to. But because this is so much an autopilot, I hesitate to say that it would need more than that. But again, happy to talk about it.
Yeah, that's perfect. And when it comes down to the actual sale of the business, would you be open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. And would you commit to a non-compete agreement?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. So Grace, is there any advice that you would give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started this business?
I would say that for me, I wish I knew to start this earlier. I know that's such a stereotypical thing to say about any business that you start, but it does take much less time and effort to get started than what you think it would.
Yeah, that's very true. So that leads us into the final question of the interview, and probably the most important one. If you had to put yourself into the shoes of a buyer, why do you think your business is a business worth buying?
First of all, it's in a growing market. That's really what you need to look for in Amazon FBA, is that you're getting into the right category. You're creating products in the right market. Search volume is growing since I've started this last year. There are new listings being added. Average BSR is very, very healthy. And at the same time, I'm seeing success with both of my SKUs on the front page in the top 5 most days. And one of them is usually number 1 or number 2. But at the same time, there's huge opportunity to make my listing better with, like I've been saying, not that much time and resources put into it, because any expert at, product photography or PPC is going to be better than just doing it by myself. So yeah, it's in a really great market that's growing, and there's a lot of opportunity to make the listings that I already have even better.
Wonderful. It certainly sounds like there's a lot of opportunity there for a buyer. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that I might have missed?
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Grace, for coming on and giving us a little bit more insight into you and your business. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 60299. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.